Remember when British high streets weren't brands? They were routines. Somewhere along the way, the shops closed, the signs vanished, and entire habits went with them. These weren't niche stores or failed experiments. They were places people built weeks around. And the first brand on this list is the one people still check for, even though it disappeared in plain sight in 2009. Woolworths, 1909 to 2009. Woolworths arrived on British high streets in 1909, becoming the nation's everything store. By the 1980s, every town centre had one, instantly recognisable by its red fascia and crowded aisles. The store sold sweets, records, toys, household goods and hardware under one roof. The famous pick and mix counter became a British institution where children calculated exactly how many sweets their pocket money would buy. So Woolworths operated on democratic shopping, making everything accessible to ordinary families regardless of budget. The chain peaked at 809 stores across Britain, dominating high streets for generations. You'd spend Saturday mornings filling paper bags with pick and mix while your mum browsed kitchen items. The smell hit you instantly. Cola bottles, foam bananas, sherbet. You'd weigh sweets on brass scales, hoping the assistant wouldn't notice you'd eaten 3 flying saucers while queuing. Your pockets always had sugar dust as evidence. Woolworths collapsed into administration in 2008, unable to compete with supermarkets and online retailers. All 807 stores closed by January 2009. C&A 1922 to 2001. C&A opened its first British store in 1922, becoming a fashion staple for affordable family clothing. While the Dutch retailer operated 109 stores across Britain by the 1980s and 1990s, offering everything from children's school uniforms to adults' workwear. C&A positioned itself between market stalls and expensive department stores, providing quality clothing at prices working families could afford. The stores featured vast floors of clothing racks organised by size and type, with fitting rooms always busy on Saturdays. C&A became synonymous with back-to-school shopping and affordable fashion that didn't sacrifice quality. You'd drag around C&A every September for new school clothes, trying on endless trousers while your mum checked seams and labels. The fitting room queues stretched forever. Your school friends all had identical C&A jumpers because nowhere else offered that combination of price and durability. The carrier bags with the distinctive logo were everywhere. C&A withdrew from Britain in 2000, closing all 113 stores and cutting 4,800 jobs despite profitability. British Home Stores, BHS, 1928 to 2016. British Home Stores opened in 1928, becoming a cornerstone of British high streets for nearly 90 years. Known simply as BHS, from the mid-1980s onwards, the department store sold clothing, home furnishings, lighting, and operated popular in-store restaurants. BHS occupied prime positions on every major high street, offering affordable homeware and fashion for middle-income families. The store became famous for reliable basics: curtains, bedding, lighting fixtures, and sensible clothing that lasted. The cafe on the top floor became a British institution where shoppers took breaks over tea and cake. You'd trail through BHS behind your parents, bored by curtain shopping but perking up at the Café Promise. The restaurant served proper chips and beans on toast. You'd watch other families doing exactly the same Saturday routine: shopping, then eating, then more shopping. The lighting department had hundreds of lampshades creating strange shadows. BHS entered administration in April 2016, closing all remaining stores by August 2016, despite desperate rescue attempts. Fine Fare, 1951 to 1988. Fine Fare launched in 1951 in Welwyn Garden City, growing into a major British supermarket chain through the 1960s and 1970s. The stores featured distinctive yellow and red branding, offering groceries at competitive prices when supermarket shopping was still relatively new to Britain. Fine Fare expanded rapidly, all becoming a household name across the country. The supermarkets provided self-service shopping, revolutionary compared to traditional counter-service grocers. Fine Fare competed directly with emerging giants like Tesco and Sainsbury's, positioning itself as the affordable family choice. You'd push trolleys around Fine Fare with your mum every Friday, watching her compare prices and cross items off handwritten lists. The checkout ladies knew everyone by name. You'd beg for treats from the confectionery aisle, usually getting refused until the very end. The carrier bags were bright yellow, impossible to mistake for any other shops. Fine Fare was acquired in 1986, with stores rebranded as Gateway or closed. The name disappeared completely by 1988. Rumbelows, 1946 to 1995. Rumbelows began as a radio and television rental business in 1946, evolving into a major electrical retailer by the 1970s and 1980s. The store's distinctive orange and brown branding became familiar sights on British high streets, selling televisions, washing machines, refrigerators, and audio equipment. Rumbelows competed with Currys, Dixons, and Comet during the electrical retail boom. The company offered rental services alongside outright purchases, important when electrical goods were expensive luxuries most families couldn't afford up front. Rumbelows represented aspiration, selling the appliances that modernized British homes. You'd press your face against Rumbelows windows, watching rows of televisions all showing the same program. Your parents would spend ages discussing washing machine specifications with sales assistants. And the shop had that distinctive electrical smell, new plastic and electronics. You'd play with the display cameras while adults talked about monthly payments and delivery dates. Rumbelows collapsed in 1995, unable to compete with changing retail landscapes. All 285 stores closed. Our Price Records, 1971 to 2004. Our Price opened in 1971, becoming Britain's leading music retailer through the vinyl, cassette, and CD eras. The shops featured distinctive red and yellow branding, with listening posts where customers could preview albums before buying. Our Price dominated high streets during music retail's golden age, when physical media was the only way to own music. The stores became cultural hubs where teenagers discovered new music, spent pocket money, and debated which albums to buy. Staff often knew customers by name and musical taste, so offering recommendations, you'd spend Saturday afternoons in Our Price listening to albums through headphones at the preview stations. The staff had strong opinions about music and weren't shy sharing them. You'd save pocket money for weeks to afford one CD, making the choice agonizing. The racks were organized by genre. You knew exactly where to find your favorite bands. Our Price was absorbed into Virgin Megastores, with the brand disappearing by 2004 as digital music emerged. Freeman Hardy and Willis, 1875 to 1996. Freeman Hardy and Willis was established in 1875, becoming one of Britain's most familiar shoe retailers with the motto, "Shoes for all the family." The chain operated hundreds of stores across Britain through the 20th century, offering affordable footwear for every age and occasion. FHW represented sensible, durable shoes rather than fashion statements. The stores featured wooden fittings, measuring devices, and assistants who properly fitted shoes rather than simply selling them. Freeman Hardy and Willis embodied old-fashioned service, measuring feet carefully, checking fit thoroughly, ensuring shoes would last. You'd sit on padded benches while assistants measured your feet with cold metal devices. Your mum would press your toes through the leather, checking for growing room. School shoes came from Freeman Hardy and Willis every September. Solid, boring, and built to last. The boxes smelled of new leather and tissue paper. The company collapsed in 1996, with stores sold to competitors. The brand disappeared from British high streets. Athena, 1964 to 1995. Athena opened in 1964, child becoming synonymous with poster culture and student accommodation decoration through the 1970s and 1980s. The shops sold posters, prints, greeting cards, and gifts, featuring iconic images like the tennis girl and man and baby. Athena stores appeared in every shopping centre and high street, offering affordable art for young people. The retailers understood youth culture, stocking images that resonated with teenagers and students. Band posters, film prints, motivational quotes, and romantic photography. Athena made art accessible to ordinary people. You'd browse Athena for hours, flipping through poster racks looking for the perfect image for your bedroom wall. The shop smelled of new paper and cardboard. Your walls were covered in Athena posters, changed regularly as tastes evolved. Friends compared poster collections, now debating which images were coolest. The tennis girl poster hung in millions of British bedrooms. Athena collapsed in 1995, though franchises continued briefly. The brand finally disappeared from high streets by 2014. Quick Save, 1959 to 2007. Quick Save launched in 1959, pioneering the discount supermarket model in Britain, decades before Aldi and Lidl arrived. The no-frills stores featured basic fittings, limited product ranges, and rock-bottom prices that attracted budget-conscious shoppers. Quick Save's bright yellow and red branding became associated with thrifty shopping and value for money. The supermarkets stripped away expensive extras, fancy displays, wide aisles, branded goods, focusing entirely on low prices. Quick Save introduced Britain to discount grocery shopping. You'd help carry shopping from Quick Save, told the yellow carrier bags marking your family as budget shoppers. The stores were basic: concrete floors, harsh lighting, simple shelving. Your mum would compare Quick Save prices to other supermarkets, proving how much money she'd saved. The no-frills approach meant more money for other things. Some kids felt embarrassed by Quick Save bags, but yours didn't. Quick Save entered administration in 2007, with remaining stores closed or sold. The brand disappeared. Comet, 1933 to 2012. Comet began in 1933, growing into one of Britain's largest electrical retailers by the 1980s and 1990s. The stores sold televisions, computers, refrigerators, and all electrical goods, competing with Currys and Dixons for dominance of electrical retail. Comet's warehouse-style stores and competitive pricing attracted customers seeking good deals on appliances. Then the company positioned itself as offering better value than competitors, with large out-of-town stores replacing traditional high street shops. Comet represented the shift toward big-box retail. You'd visit Comet with your parents when appliances needed replacing, wandering past rows of identical washing machines while they discussed features and prices. The stores were massive, cold, and echoey. Sales assistants wore distinctive uniforms and carried clipboards. You'd play with display computers while adults talked about delivery dates and extended warranties. The checkout process seemed to take forever. Comet entered administration in 2012, closing all 240 stores and eliminating 6,500 jobs. MFY, 1964 to 2008. MFI, Mullard Furniture Industries, launched in 1964. So becoming Britain's leading flat-pack furniture retailer decades before IKEA dominated the market. The stores sold affordable self-assembly furniture for every room, particularly specialising in kitchens and bedroom sets. MFY's distinctive blue and yellow branding appeared at retail parks across Britain throughout the 1970s, 1980s and 1990s, offering furniture working families could afford through accessible pricing and credit terms. The company pioneered flat-pack furniture culture in Britain, selling complete kitchens, bedroom sets, and living room furniture that customers assembled themselves at home. This democratized furniture ownership, making it accessible to ordinary people who couldn't afford traditional furniture retailers' prices or bespoke carpentry. MFI's model was simple: warehouse-style stores displaying complete room settings with flat-packed products collected from storage areas and transported home by customers. The self-assembly approach dramatically reduced costs, passing savings to customers willing to invest time and effort. You'd visit MFI's vast warehouse showrooms with your parents, walking through display kitchens and bedrooms arranged like ideal homes while they discussed measurements and monthly payment plans. The showrooms displayed complete rooms you'd never see in real homes. Too perfect, too coordinated, too spotless. Everything matched impossibly well. Your parents would collect flat-pack boxes from the warehouse collection area, loading them carefully into the car boot, hoping nothing was missing. Assembly instructions looked deceptively simple in the store, but never were. Your dad would spend entire weekends assembling MFI furniture, surrounded by Allen keys, mysterious leftover screws, and increasingly creative language. The furniture wobbled slightly but cost half what traditional stores charged. MFY collapsed into administration in 2008 following the financial crisis, closing all 192 stores. The brand was later revived as an online-only retailer. Safeway UK, 1962 to 2005. Safeway opened its first British store in 1962, growing into a major supermarket chain through the 1980s and 1990s with distinctive red branding that became familiar across Britain. The stores positioned themselves between budget supermarkets like Quick Save and premium retailers like Waitrose, so on offering quality groceries at competitive prices that attracted middle-income families. Safeway operated 479 stores across Britain at its peak, becoming a familiar presence on high streets and retail parks in every town and city. The supermarkets featured in-store bakeries, delicatessens, and fresh produce sections that competed directly with Tesco and Sainsbury's for the weekly family shop. Safeway represented the evolution of British grocery shopping toward modern supermarket culture. Wide aisles, extensive product ranges, loyalty cards, and one-stop shopping that replaced trips to multiple specialised shops. The stores introduced innovations like extended opening hours, customer service desks, and comprehensive ranges that made weekly shopping more convenient. You'd help with weekly shopping at Safeway, pushing trolleys past promotional displays and special offers while your mum compared prices mentally with other supermarkets. The in-store bakery section smelled amazing. Fresh bread baked throughout the day, filling the store with warmth. You'd beg for treats from the magazine and confectionery aisle, while adults methodically filled trolleys with groceries from handwritten lists. The checkout conveyor belt seemed endless, unloading, taking forever. Safeway carrier bags were distinctive red and white, different from every other supermarket's branding. Your mum collected loyalty points religiously, checking statements and calculating savings. The weekly Safeway trip structured family routines. Same day, same time, same route through the aisles. Morrisons acquired Safeway in 2004 for £3 billion, systematically rebranding all stores. The Safeway name disappeared completely from Britain by November 2005. Tandy, 1963 to 1999 UK. Tandy, also known as Radio Shack in America, arrived in Britain in 1963, becoming the essential destination for electronics hobbyists, computer enthusiasts, and gadget lovers throughout the 1970s and 1980s. The stores sold electronic components, early home computers like the TRS-80, CB radios, batteries, and technical equipment, serving a specialised market before mainstream electronics retail existed. Tandy's brown and orange branding appeared on high streets across Britain, instantly recognisable to anyone interested in technology. The shops catered to people who built, repaired, and modified electronics themselves, offering components impossible to find elsewhere: resistors, capacitors, transistors, circuit boards, and soldering equipment. Tandy represented technology's hobbyist era, before electronics became sealed, disposable, and inaccessible to amateur tinkerers. The stores employed staff who understood technical specifications and could advise on projects, creating communities of enthusiasts who shared knowledge and expertise. Tandy catalogues were legendary, thick as phone books, listing thousands of components and gadgets with detailed specifications. You'd accompany your dad to Tandy, fascinated by walls of mysterious electronic components stored in tiny numbered drawers. The staff spoke a technical language you didn't understand, talking about resistors, capacitors, transistors, voltage ratings, and circuit diagrams. Your dad would spend ages selecting specific components for projects you never saw completed, or discussing technical details with knowledgeable assistants. The shop smelled distinctively of solder and new electronics, a metallic, slightly sharp scent. You'd play with display calculators and early computers, while adults discussed technical specifications in detail. Tandy catalogues arrived regularly, and your dad would mark pages with folded corners, planning future projects that mostly remained dreams. Carphone Warehouse acquired Tandy's UK operations in 1999, closing or converting all stores to focus on mobile phones rather than electronics components. Littlewood stores, 1923 to 2005. Littlewoods began in Liverpool in 1923, growing into a retail empire combining department stores, catalogue shopping, football pools, and mail-order services. The stores sold clothing, homeware, toys, and electrical goods, just competing with traditional department stores while offering distinctive catalogue ordering services that revolutionised British shopping. Littlewoods represented a uniquely British shopping experience, part department store, part catalogue showroom, part credit provider, that made consumer goods accessible to working families. The company pioneered catalogue shopping in Britain, allowing families to buy items on credit through weekly payment plans managed by local agents who collected payments door to door. This system made furniture, appliances, and clothing accessible to families who couldn't afford large upfront payments, fundamentally changing working-class consumer culture. The famous Littlewoods catalogue arrived at homes across Britain, thick volumes showing everything from clothes to electronics, all available through affordable weekly instalments. You'd browse Littlewoods department stores with your mum, looking at clothes and items you'd order from catalogues rather than buying immediately from displays. The stores featured catalogue desks where orders were placed using massive books showing every available item with prices and payment options clearly marked. You'd help your mum flip through hundreds of pages, marking items with folded corners for later consideration. The catalogue arrived at home weekly, each family member claiming it first to browse their sections. Your mum would calculate weekly payments carefully, checking affordability before committing to orders. Littlewoods represented aspiration, owning things beyond immediate means through manageable payments. The catalogue agent visited weekly, so collecting payments and chatting about orders. Littlewoods made middle-class consumer goods accessible to working families. Littlewood stores closed completely in 2005, though the catalogue and online business continued under different ownership until eventually disappearing. Blockbuster Video UK, 1989 to 2013. Blockbuster arrived in Britain in 1989, revolutionising home entertainment through video rental stores that became cornerstones of weekend leisure. The distinctive blue and yellow shop stocked thousands of VHS tapes and later DVDs, offering new releases alongside classic films and television series. Blockbuster dominated video rental through the 1990s and early 2000s, becoming the Friday night ritual, choosing films for weekend viewing before streaming services existed or were even imaginable. The stores represented social activity, browsing shelves with friends and family, reading descriptions on video cases, debating choices, discovering films through cover artwork and staff recommendations. Blockbuster made cinema accessible at home, democratizing entertainment that previously required cinema visits or waiting years for television broadcasts. The stores employed staff who genuinely loved films and could recommend hidden gems, creating communities of film enthusiasts who returned weekly. You'd spend Friday evenings in Blockbuster, walking aisles organised by genre, action, comedy, horror, drama, checking new releases displayed on back walls. The membership cards lived in your wallet alongside library cards, physical proof of entertainment access. You'd debate film choices endlessly with friends, and checking age certificates and reading descriptions on cases, picking up multiple options before final decisions. The late fees terrified your parents. Returning films on time became family priority, sometimes requiring special trips. The shop smelled distinctively of plastic video cases and popcorn from the confectionery display near checkout. Weekend plans revolved entirely around which films you'd rented. Watching became social events with friends gathering. Blockbuster closing meant entertainment had fundamentally changed, from physical, social experiences to solitary streaming. Blockbuster UK entered administration in 2013, closing all 264 remaining stores as Netflix and streaming services completely dominated home entertainment. And these brands didn't vanish because individual companies failed. The entire system that sustained them collapsed. British high street retail operated on physical presence, personal service, and community connection that online shopping cannot replicate. The shift from high streets to retail parks, from browsing to clicking, from assistants to algorithms fundamentally changed how Britain shops. Town centres once thrived because shopping required visiting multiple specialised stores, record shops, furniture retailers, electrical stores, supermarkets, department stores, each offering expertise and service. When supermarkets expanded ranges, when internet retailers offered unlimited choice delivered to doors, when out-of-town shopping centres provided free parking, high street retail's economic foundation crumbled. And you remember these shops not just as businesses, but as community spaces, where you encountered neighbours, where staff knew your family, where Saturday mornings meant shared social experiences. Modern retail offers convenience and choice, but it's eliminated the communal aspect of shopping. The conversations with assistants who remembered you, the chance encounters with friends, the rituals that structured weekly life. These brands represented more than commerce. They were the fabric of British community life, and their disappearance reflects how fundamentally society has transformed